Well, in this second video, we will concentrate more on the tips and tricks on using this SSRS. Coming to our demo project, we saw how to create this gender-wise sales count in our previous video. So now we will see how to play further on this report. So in generally, so we want to see, let us say for example, we want to see what is the sum of these two. That means the uh, total sales count of male and female in the month of January. So again, here you need to calculate it something like 77 plus 124. The value should come over here, and the same 174 plus 214 over here. So how to display this? How to do this? So for this also, we are having an option. I'm going now to the design view. So here I'm creating a new column. So simply right click it here and say insert column. Inside the group stands for within the gender group if you want to add any further columns, or else outside the group. So here I would like to go it outside the group. So let's say it's outside the group right side. So here if you see, I have my new column. So what need to display over here? Simply sales count. So it will sums up automatically both the male executives and female executives sales counts. So I'm placing my text over here something like the total sales count. And if you want, you can place this tip also here. This column is newly created. That's a simple tooltip. Say OK, and here you can say what is the format you want, and alignment, font, border, different options is available for you. You can simply play with them. So for the time being, I'm leaving as it is. OK, so here is my new column added. Now if I run my query, my report, say from 7th of July, 1st of July 2002 till date. So here is my total sales count. Boom. 77 plus 124, 201. That's right. 174 plus 248. That's 2, right? So here is how we will be adding the new columns. Automatic summarizing of the columns, all the information. The next thing. Let's say for example, I want to hide and I want to give an option to my user to hide or unhide this total sales count, because some users really don't want to see this total sales count, and for some they want to see what is the total sales count. So how to do this? That means the topic over here is hiding or unhiding the complete column, a specific column. So what we can do over here is we can use a property called column visibility. So here the default option will be show. If you say it as hide, it will be hide forever, and you can also place an expression something like show or hide based on an expression. So the expression can be built over here. These are different options available to build an expression. So let us see how we can do this using an expression. So here in my parameters, I am taking it as another separate parameter wherein user will be able to select whether to display the column or not to display the column. I am simply adding a new parameter. So general, the parameter name, let's say it's a custom parameter, and the user should be prompted something like hide or unhide total counts. So that's a boolean value for me. It should simply return me either true or false, and the available values here I'm having some specific values, something like, let's say, hide total counts true, and add unhide total counts false. So what happens over here is, whenever a user selector, user will be able to see these two as the front end values, that means the labels of the drop down list, and these are all the values for the drop down list. That means whenever a user select hide total counts, the output from this parameter value will come out as true, and whenever he select unhide, the output will come out as false. So what I'm doing over here is, I'm placing this as available true or false, something like this, and say okay. So now under column visibility, I'm preparing the expression something like show or hide based on expression, and I strongly believe Microsoft was supposed to say it as hide based on an expression. It should not be show or hide, right? So it is specifically working something like hide based on an expression. That means hide true or false. fx, I'm taking the parameter, simple value of the parameter, custom parameter value. That means if the custom parameter value returned true, the column will get hide, and if it returned false, the column will get visible. So now see, let's test our report now how it will works. So you see, a new drop down list came automatically, hide total counts and hide total counts. So now I'm selecting my dates. Now if I say view report, oops, I say please select a value for the parameter hide or unhide total counts, right? So I forgot to select the hide or unhide total counts value. So now I'm saying say hide total counts. So now the view report, you see there is no total counts over here, though the column is binding, but it will not get displayed. Let's say unhide the total counts, view report, here we go with our unhide total counts. So that's just an idea on how to hiding or unhiding the columns. You can play a lot based upon your requirement on this particular topic. So the next point over here for us is, well, if you see here, my dates I have selected by mistake or whatever it may be, I am selecting for the next year as a from date, and the to date is this one. So what happens now? Well, nothing goes wrong, but the report will not display anything because the from date is greater than the to date. That's it. So a great confusion to user, what happened to this. So because the user really don't know that he has selected 2012, it's happened accidentally, and but the user really unable to understand what's the wrong over here and why my report is not able to see. But somehow if we are able to see a error message or an alert to users stating that you have selected invalid dates, that will be pretty much good, right? So for this, unfortunately we don't have any direct option in SQL Server as reporting services, but the great flexibility we are having here is to place a bit of VB code wherein you can simply pass the parameter values and check your validations, and if it is not meeting your requirement, throw an error message. Let's see how to do this. So here I am going to the design view. If I right click over here, you will be able to see the report properties. So these are all the different properties available for a report, like what is the paper size you can select, and for the printout, and what is the left margin, right margin should be there, and what is how the format is landscape, and all this stuff is there. In addition to this, we are having one more nice option out here, code. So that's a custom code wherein you can place your own code. A simple VB function will also do so here, something like this. Let's say function validate dates, and it takes two parameters, from date as date time and to date as date time. and it will returns a boolean value result and function. So here I'm simply checking whether my from date is greater than or not to date. So if it is greater than to date, then it is an wrong, because my from date should always be less than the to date. That means that the date from should be lesser value compared to the to date. So here it should return false, and if it is not the case, it should return true. Okay, so that's our simple VB function wherein it will simply check whether the date is valid or not, and you can do whatever the stuff you want also over here and say okay. So how to use this VB code in this particular report, that's also there for us. You can simply